Yesterday, the Justice Minister said that the case against Vice Admiral Norman was being handled by the Public Prosecution Service of Canada and was totally independent of the government. But there's only one problem with that. The Prime Minister talked about charges being laid in this case back in April of 2017, almost a full year before any charges were laid. How did the Prime Minister know a year ahead of time that charges would be laid against Mark Norman? Who told the Prime Minister?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, as we have noted in this House many times this week and otherwise, this is a matter that is presently before the courts. A proper judicial proceeding is underway. It's in the hands of the Public Prosecution Service on the Crown side. It's in the hands of very competent defence counsel on the defence side, and it's inappropriate for members of Parliament to comment on that process or any aspect of that process while the judicial system is still at work.
Leader d'Opposition à la Chambre.
Mr. Speaker, we're asking about the cover-up that's going on right now in the Prime Minister's office. The Prime Minister had no problem announcing to the world on multiple occasions that charges would be laid against Vice Admiral Norman, even before an investigation was complete. And earlier this week, government officials had no problem talking to reporters on background about the Treasury Board President's dealings with Irving. But answering serious questions that might embarrass the Prime Minister, silence and lame excuses. Mr. Speaker, who are they protecting? What are they hiding?
Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
Mr. Speaker, the honourable member talks about lame excuses. Well, the excuses would actually be multiple rulings by the Speaker of the House of Commons and the rules that are compiled for the benefit of the House of Commons by the very table officers in front of you. Mr. Speaker, those rules make it very clear that during the course of a criminal proceeding, it is inappropriate to either ask or answer questions in the House of Commons.
Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, in November 2015, both the Minister of Defence and the President of the Treasury Board were at the International Security Forum, which took place in Halifax. Can one of those ministers tell this House if a meeting took place with Irving in Halifax between November 20th and November 22nd with one or both of those ministers and what was discussed?
The Honourable Minister of Public Safety.
The appropriate place to pursue the details of a criminal proceeding is in a court of law. That's what the rules of the House of Commons say. And I would point out, as the table officers have written in the House of Commons Compendium of Procedure, quote, members are expected to refrain from discussing matters actively before the courts or under judicial consideration in order to guard those involved in a court action or judicial inquiry from any undue influence. I would remind the honourable member she is neither the prosecutor nor the defender.